Hi Facebook, this is Emma Davis. I'm a veterinary career coach and business coach, and I'm doing 30 days live with Dr. Emma Davis, talking all things veterinary careers. So welcome. I'll just see if anyone's joining tonight, and if you're joining later on and watching a replay, just do hashtag replay and tell me, hi Lisa, tell me where you're joining from, and that'll be great. So we must be in sync because Lisa did a live just now and is talking about a really similar topic to what was on my heart to speak about too. It must be school holidays because my topic was veterinary mums as leaders. And hello, hi Lisa. And I guess this is after I spent today taking two 5-year-olds to the movies to see Toy Story 4. And there was our little girl Jasmine, and her best friend Lucy. And there was absolute hysteria and laughing and giggling and watching a movie sitting upside down in the chair and sliding off the chair onto the floor. We went into the front row, thankfully. And we had a lovely, lovely time. And Jasmine's exhausted and came home straight to bed, straight to sleep when we got home. But it's been a very hard week to get any work done. So I was just thinking about the different roles that women have, and it's been lovely to spend time with Jazz, but at the same time I said to Brad when I saw him, I'm like, well, it hasn't been a very productive week work-wise for me. And we really need to get Jazz into some school programs next week so I can settle in and get back to my routine. And but anyway, it's been a great, we cooked cupcakes and stuff that we don't usually do, and it's very precious time. And for me in my career, having this time at home has and starting these businesses of career and business coaching, and earlier we started Global Veterinary Solutions, which is has the website veterinarycareers.com.au. And I dreamt that business up on maternity leave, because as soon as you've got this baby in the world, you know that you don't really want to be sitting at a workplace anymore that you're not loving all the time. Your time becomes so much more precious, and your time is the most valuable asset that you've got. But that really hits home when you bring home a little baby. So yeah, and then I'm looking at various things and different careers and coaching some people this week, and had a lot of conversations about women, actually, women in the workplace, and then looking at some leadership roles as well. So I thought I'll just speak quickly about veterinary mums as leaders, because there's mum life is quite different to my career before mum life. So yeah, so one thing I noticed this week was I was coaching someone, and we decided to have a look at her her superannuation, and she's well into her career, and we looked up the average superannuation that should have been expected at her age, and I won't say how hers was going, but what I noticed was there was a huge disparity between men and women, and it's basically because women leave the workforce for the period of parenting, or much reduced, do much reduced paid hours outside of the home because of child rearing. And it was quite shocking. There was at least a third lower, and at the end of a working life, up to half the amount in Australia that women have in their superannuation account as compared to a man at the same age. So, I mean, that's a big shock. And another thing in the veterinary field is that we have a pay disparity as well. And interestingly enough, I think this is now being kept alive by the fact that as we feminise the profession, men are becoming a rare commodity in a workplace, in a veterinary workplace. And I've heard of premiums being paid for a man to come in and balance it out. I know I can't remember what they said, but and that was by a corporate in Australia. So this disparity in pay is real as well, and we need to address that as going forward into the future of our profession. And to have an acceptance of a lower pay scale for women is only going to make it harder for veterinarians to earn a decent living, which it already is hard. If we're not demanding that get changed now. And notably, I think it was Norway, no, it wasn't Norway, it was Iceland that made it illegal to pay a female any less than a male for equal work recently. So I think these are the kind of drastic measures that we need to just start to push through, because women bear equal work responsibilities to men in today's society. Outside of the home, and then we still have to sort out inside of the home. And so I had some tips around that. Now, by no means I'm not an expert at this, but this is just what's been on my mind as I've been doing mumming actively this week, and Jazzy's been home from her little preschool, which does school terms. So my tips for veterinary mums as leaders is to be really aware of the pay thing and the super thing, and to set yourself up for financial success early, because it's really stressful if you don't have financial security, and it's harder to step up into leadership roles and to advocate for yourself if you haven't valued yourself and learned how to have those negotiations and discussions earlier. Because you need to have your brave pants on when you're going into the leadership roles, and you get those on, get your brave pants on by practicing bringing them on at different stages. So getting comfortable with negotiation of your income, making sure that you're paid a decent super, and taking responsibility for your finances from the get-go. Even as when you're married, you want to make sure that you're across it, that the responsibility is between the two partners and never just in one person's hands. So there's a new day coming for women leaders in society, and so as veterinarians, we're highly trained people, and it's I think we should be stepping up into leadership roles in the community as we can. Okay, so that means you have to give your partner some more home duties so that you can get freed up to get to board meetings and things like that. We need more women on boards. There is a big drive across, well, Australia in particular, to actually see the number of women on boards increase. And there's a really good website called Women on Boards, and a Facebook group. I think you just pay to access for all of their positions, and there's lots of board roles on there, and many of them would be very suitable for veterinarians, and some of them are paid and some of them are not paid. And yeah, so I just encourage you as veterinarians, you are leaders in the community, to get out there and actually get onto the local boards. It might not necessarily be an animal health one, but of course a vet will come in handy in those, or animal welfare ones. But yeah, just to get comfortable with governance, get comfortable with leadership, and actually step up into those. I'm on the board of Jasmine's school at the minute, and on another couple of high-level committees as well. So yeah, just get comfortable in that space and step up, and don't think that you have to be perfect and have everything all together before you do that. You've done the work, you are a leader, if you're able to communicate as a veterinarian, you already have the skill set that you need to be able to contribute into a board position, and then you can learn or get training on the financial responsibilities, etc., that you'll need in that position. So tip 3, so I've got lots of tips here. It was a bit of a flurry because it's been a big week. So I was talking about the pay disparity between men and women, and to learn how to negotiate and take responsibility for your finances from the get-go, and that we need more women on boards. So just get onto a board or two. They can be paid or unpaid, but it's a really good way to learn someone just messaged all of the skills that you need to manage business, and yeah, to be on committees and things. The Veterinary Association is a great one to get started with. So, and the third tip I've got is your home persona is not your work persona, and this is something that I've been grappling with. And a guy, one of my coach friends, Richard Staines, he posted something this week that was so pertinent, and it was so good, because it was like, your work thinking is not your home thinking. And if you've ever been in a relationship and trying to negotiate all of this home stuff, and both have careers and keep the house relatively clean and everybody fed and food in the cupboard, then you might know that that can cause some tension if you're not organised, and or you've never had to negotiate that before. I was 40 when I had Jasmine, or 39, soon to turn 40 a month after I had Jasmine, and I was ticking along pretty well, looking after myself, and yeah, so quite a different world to stop in the middle of your career and have a baby. And it's been an amazing blessing, but it's definitely a big culture shock. And I think it's around this thinking, because I was really good at work thinking. I'm really good at work thinking. That's my happy place in work thinking. I love strategic analysis. I love critical assessment. I love making hard decisions. I like making the tough calls. But if I bring that thinking home, it doesn't go so well. So yeah, I guess Richard was talking this week about separating out your work thinking from your life thinking. And I think that's true. And that's been a big part of my journey in the last couple of years, outside of, the government workforce and doing these work from home, is that the life thinking is something that I'd never really done much of. And I've given myself that time now to have done that, and to reignited that flame and fire, and given myself the space to do that. And that's often, for me, that's a heart-led thinking as well. So it's an amazing exercise to do, but it also it needs to happen. So you need to give yourself the space to do that. And so just think about, we all know we're different at work than we are at home, but it's actually how we think about things as well. And that critical analysis, and that breaking it down, that problem solving, and that task orientation and getting things done of work, you might need to change that approach at home. Although getting the balancing act right, you do need to be highly organised, I've realised, and that's something that I have. I was, when I was, I've been married for 7 or 8 years now, soon, I think coming up 7 in September. Single, I was highly organised, and I don't like cleaning very much, so I was ridiculously anal about keeping everything where I wanted it, and that gets messed up when you have a family. So the balancing act and negotiating everything is key to make sure that everybody has their roles and understands it. So with the balancing act, my big tip is to get the help that you need. So this comes with children as you get mummy guilt. It just seems to be part of being a mum. You get guilt about not being good enough, the best mum. Am I doing something wrong, etc., etc., etc. Is she growing fast enough? Is she growing too fast? All those kind of things. So get the help that you need. That might be, with me, that's a cleaner, because even though I'm working from home, I can earn a lot more money, and I need to earn a lot more money working than cleaning. Of course, tidy and keep things neat, but yeah, like to pay for that actually keeps things in order, and that's other people are much better at it than me, so use that. I would love a chef. That would be amazing. I would have a vegan chef, and then I would love to be vegan, but I don't have one of those. So control that mummy guilt. Know that everybody's got that mummy guilt, and that that no one's perfect. So yeah, we love our kids, and they test us, and that's their job, is to test us. Jasmine's just like me, so she pushes all my buttons and tests me, and she's been really defiant this week, and I'm so proud of her, because I want her to be really defiant, but I can see a lot of myself in that defiance when I thought about how I stubbed my nose at some things in government, and I was like, yes, well, you might think that that's a rule, but I mean, I kept the rules, but I was always trying to get better rules in place. So I was always trying to fight the system, but when your daughter's doing it to you, it's maybe not so comfortable, but that's okay. So she's going to be a great leader. Difficult 5-year-old, but that's okay. I can cope. And yeah, back to negotiating equity in the chores at home, and understanding that there is a burden at home around the thinking, around the planning, around the doing, even just nutritious meals. making sure the shopping's done for the week, the tidying, etc., etc. So I'm going to go into hardcore training of my family now. I've decided that enough's enough. They need to get trained. So Jasmine's going really well. The boys have yet to be trained a little bit more than they have been so far. I wonder, we'll find out if Brad ever watches these videos after I've said that now. Okay, cool. So lots of tips for veterinary leadership for mum or vet mums in leadership is just get into it, just do it. Don't feel guilty. Don't also feel guilty about doing the leadership roles and being away from your little one. You need to keep you looked after and your brain active and your career engaged. So find good people or a good school like we have for Jazz that you can trust them and know that they're getting, your kids are getting something really great out of that. You don't need to spend 24/7 with them. Get bold about negotiating and setting yourself up really well financially so that from the get-go you are aiming at equity and wealth in that space and never having any stress about it. And I don't know, maybe even compensating for the fact that you might be out of the workforce for a while, or dad could be out of the workforce for a while. That'd be great. So think about your home persona as opposed to your work persona, and understand that you need different aspects of your personality for both. And then with the balancing act, just get the help that you need. Know that nobody's perfect, so don't bother yourself too much with mummy guilt, but it will come anyway, but just control it. Don't get overwhelmed by it, and negotiate equity at home as best you can. Okay, that was a really long live. Good luck. Reach out if you ever want to chat about women in leadership. It's a passion of mine, so love to talk to you. I do career coaching and business coaching, and having great results with my people, changing careers, earning more money in their businesses, cranking up other businesses, getting clarity about what they want. Yeah, there's some great results happening. So if you're interested in that, just reach out and say hi or say yes or something. Type something there so I know that you're interested, or you can set up a meeting with me at the link above. Okay, guys, good night and love your veterinary career. Night.